Good afternoon, everyone. Kicking off the 2022 media trends, we'll be talking about the rise of responsible marketing. This section has two distinct parts, discussing the shifting of targeting and measuring abilities that are the backbone of digital, as well as marketers and media agencies creating communication plans that align with sustainability. These slides review the importance of controlling the information that is both given to and housed by clients and advertisers, and strategic ways to transparently obtain this information. We're also going to be talking about creating emotional connections with consumers through authentic messaging and actions that drive affinity to a brand. Privacy continues to be a top priority in consumers' minds, especially with the lion's share of interacting with brands take place within the digital ecosystem. An overwhelming majority of iOS users, iPhone and iPad, are concerned about being tracked online. This consumer set can be used as a proxy for consumers as they make up 53% of device usage in the United States. The latest iOS version includes an update for when users open the app. They'll be asked explicitly whether they give permission for companies to track them across other apps and websites. According to a survey carried out in 2021, when asked for their stance on new privacy measures, 65% of iOS users responded favorably, with less than a quarter thought the privacies were taking it too far. The backbone of open web targeting, cookie-based targeting, will end by Q3 2023, with Chrome no longer allowing tracking cookies. This impacts all marketers as Google's Chrome browser makes up a majority of all web traffic across all devices. Facebook and Apple and Google are all taking measures to build up their own walled gardens even higher, constructed upon the signals they obtain from users while logged into their platforms. These signals are largely become a replacement for the open data marketplace, which is currently informed by tracking cookies within the open web. These cookies will no longer function again as of Q3 2023. This visual outlines the three commonly implemented data sources and strategies for messaging consumers: second, third, and first-party data. Third-party data is aggregated from multiple sources and is largely cookie-based. This information has been the backbone of targeting for digital media, but will shift in importance and usability due to cookies no longer functioning of Q3 of next year. Of all types of data, third-party data has the largest impact or will be impacted the largest out of all data sets. Second-party data is the data collected by a platform, company, or organization, then sold as a data set to marketers. Companies such as Google, Facebook, Amazon, Walmart largely rely on logged-in signals, which are durable targeting tactics, and then are sold to marketers, like everyone on this call. Audience size may decrease due to users opting out of various non-cookie tracking seen in iOS devices and may require some re-benchmarking of efforts year over year to compare effectiveness and efficiencies within these platforms. First-party data is information from your own consumers, usually housed within a CDP, a customer data platform, or a CRM, a customer relationship platform. This information usually takes the shape of name, email address, physical address. Client consumer data will be a vital tool for alternatives to less durable targeting signals like third-party data. Clients' website actions, including retargeting, will no longer be available in their current form, so other alternatives are in development, such as Google Analytics 4. We're seeing two major types of data source methodologies become popular topics of conversation: data co-ops, ID-based frameworks built from hashed and encrypted email addresses built from first-party data, and cohorts, grouping of individuals on similar internet behaviors within a second-party walled garden. We'll be digging into both of these in a couple of slides. Knowing certain targeting strategies we lost or less effective with cookie depreciation in 2023, how do we prepare for this and understand durable targeting strategies to ensure performance does not suffer? Do marketers even rely on third-party data in their commonly used marketing strategies? The short answer to this question is yes. During a 2021 survey carried out among senior marketers from the United States, 51% of respondents stated that third-party cookies were very important for their current marketing strategy, as they make up a majority of the data the company utilized. On the other hand, 10% stated that they never used third-party cookie and the cookie was not important for them at all. How are we moving forward in a landscape without the use of targeting cookies? Marketers are to take stock of the information they already have within their databases to understand what actionable segments or records are readily available. These records will ultimately inform the best targeting strategy solutions moving forward. That's really not the only targeting solution. There are other solutions out there. Using first-party data enhances targeting and reporting capabilities for digital campaigns, but advertisers must be responsible when utilizing a customer's personal information. As noted on the previous slide, second-party data, or rather first-party data from another source, is largely unaffected by the degradation of cookies. Think of the major media players, such as Condé Nast as an example. They have decades worth of readership and subscriber information readily available and able to be coded into actionable targeting segments. On top of that, these publishers will still provide a powerful contextual play for marketers to align with key audiences based on the content of any given publication. Even though major tech players are forcing the industry's hand in launching a cookieless future, industry solutions are largely in beta. For example, Google's FLoC, a technology that was in testing for Google that replaced the cookie for targeting measurement, was ultimately shut down due to privacy concerns. Google's now focusing on Topics, a cohort second-party based targeting solution based upon how a user interacts with the Google platform while logged in. Topics are determined on a weekly basis and are based upon how the user interacts with the Google ecosystem and remodeled after 3 weeks. Users can review their own topics from by logging into their Google account, and they can even turn off the entire Topics API to be removed from this targeting suite. The Trade Desk continues to roll out the Unified ID solution that is comprised of opted-in users built around a hashed encrypted email for targeting and measurement. Collectively, we remain watchful at Harmland and identifying new and emerging solutions heading into 2023. We encourage everyone on this call to work with your Harmland counterparts to continue to round out your unique strategy for targeting in the cookieless world. And at the end of the section, we'll have a unique email that any inquisitive marketer can reach out to Harmland for further information. So unpacking first-party data a little bit further, there's a wide breadth of solutions that can be deployed based upon first-party records. These are targeting measurement solutions, do not specifically rely on cookies, so they're relatively unaffected by everything we've talked about up to now. Based upon these records, marketers have about their own consumers. Media agencies can upload this information to a Google, a Facebook, a Trade Desk, and build out strategic campaigns that specifically target. Oh, sorry, I just activated my Google. Specifically target those in the consumer base with key messaging. Remove them after they convert or re-message them with a key component to sell. Some of these solutions require as little as 1,000 customer records to deploy. In some cases, come at little or no cost. One of the axioms that come to mind when deploying this information is an adage that people don't hate advertising, they hate irrelevant ads, they hate bad ads. Utilizing this information can help us continue on the quest to get the right message in front of the right person at the right time. So we just touched on deploying customer lists, but let's discuss on how to specifically prepare throughout 2022 by building out record databases. Marketers need to take an inventory of the currently available records and build campaigns around filling in record gaps through strategic media campaigns. These campaigns should be focused on gathering key record components, name, email address, physical address in some cases. I'm sure many of the attendees here encountered the brands offering free shipping or a key discount during the last holiday season if one provided their email address. This is an effort to build up a brand's CRM through meaningful value exchange, one where both the company and the consumer are rewarded. Other forms of this value exchange are found across B2C through contests, promotions, and in B2B, this tactic has been used for many years now to gate valuable white papers by entering your email address and things like that. So let's talk about warehousing this highly sensitive information. Advertisers need to be mindful on how this information is stored and activated. Be transparent with a specific and clearly defined privacy policy on site, readily available for consumers. Identify ideal information, so email addresses, name, physical addresses. Marketers like Harmland do not need credit card information ever. Marketers need to be good shepherds of this information by encrypting this data and specifically develop disaster communication plans in case of a data breach. Harmland is a full team dedicated to continuing to identify new and emerging tools, tactics, and strategies to ensure continued success in a cookieless world. For any questions and follow-ups, do not hesitate to reach out in this chat or to cookieless@harmland.com. We'll be transitioning over now to my colleague, Noelle Ciaplay, to discuss sustainability in marketing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat. So on the next few slides, I'll be taking you through sustainability and authentic execution and what that means for marketers and advertisers. So we've seen these two topics really come to the forefront in the last 2 years, especially in 2020 in the height of the pandemic and the social justice movements that were happening in our country and around the globe. And what has been evident is that consumers are expecting more from brands. Consumers are challenging businesses and brands to really work towards social responsibility. What we found is that globally, 79% of consumers value sustainability. And of these respondents, 71% are willing to pay a premium of 37% more for sustainable brands. So for customers, favorability really lies with brands that are sustainability focused, and they are willing to purchase with these brands. For brands, many have been empowered to improve their practices around various sustainability goals that include distribution, employment, advocacy, and even messaging. So for marketers, they're responding to this sustainability challenge in various ways. And one of the ways that marketers have stepped up to the challenge is making product manufacturing and packaging more eco-friendly. And the brand that comes to mind to me is IKEA. So we all know that they're well known for their use of renewable wood-based and recycled materials in a lot of their products. But IKEA actually also made a commitment this year to phase out plastic in their packaging in steps over the next 2 decades. So again, this is just one way that marketers are responding to this challenge. Another way that they've stepped up to this challenge, we found that 38% of marketers are making these public commitments to sustainability and holding themselves socially accountable. So, we've all seen it in these last year's Super Bowl. We saw various brands stepping up center stage on a national level to really make this public commitment on where they stand on social efforts as far as sustainability goals. So really to further this idea of brands making these public announcements, Microsoft Advertising launched marketing with business purposes through business attributes through paid search. So as I discussed, personal ethics and brand values have really become factors in buying decisions for many customers. So really being able to quickly differentiate one brand from others through attributes really can help your brand stand out from the competition. So these new attributes from Microsoft allows a brand to really display their dedication to responsibility. So with these attributes, you can choose from fall under 4 different main categories, which include inclusion, environmental, community, and social responsibility, as well as accessibility. So within those 4 categories, there are 32 attributes that a business can choose from. So again, this is just another way for brands to really highlight how their brand values align with the values of their customers, but specifically through paid search. So next up, I'll be taking you through authentic execution. So what we found is that the modern consumer, they're tech savvy, they're smart, and they're research oriented. And essentially, they're looking to support brands that are honest and that support social causes that align with their own personal beliefs and values. 90% of customers mentioned that authenticity as an important factor in deciding which brands they like and support, which is why it is important for brands to really create those emotional connections with consumers through authentic messaging. So taking a deeper diver into that modern consumer, as of 2020, millennials and Gen Z make up more than 139 people in the US. So that's 42% of the US population. So these audiences really prefer brands that are real, that are organic. So brands really cannot afford to ignore the wants and needs of these audiences, which is why representation matters so much. So if we take a look at the chart here on the right, the younger generations are more often to notice representation in ads at the time that they're considering purchasing. So as you can see in this chart, they are willing to spend their money with brands across all of these categories that represent themselves. So again, it's important that, representation matters in that authentic messaging. So it's important to create messaging that is authentically tailored to consumers and that our media tactics that we select align with where our audience is so that we are visible in their world. So wrapping up this first section, there's plenty of good amount of takeaways and opportunities for responsible marketing in both data storage, as Pat has touched on, as well as authenticity. So our first key takeaway here is, it's critical for marketers to really understand and expand upon the available records for first-party data. This will allow us to really continue to message the right consumer at the right time, regardless of the context or the environment. So the landscape is drastically changing in the next 12 months, but by leveraging user data, it allows for more precision with regards to campaign targeting and higher accuracy for measurement and reporting. Our second takeaway here, transparency. And record management is paramount to building trust in a cookieless future. So customers are expecting companies to be very transparent in how they're storing their data. So transparency allows customers to really see and subscribe to that bigger picture. And then lastly, consumers, they're valuing brands that are sustainability focused and are authentic in their approach, which is why it is so important to really create those deeper connections with consumers, as it does help a brand grow, but it also creates that affinity to a brand as well.